Serving Tampa Bay since 1954, the Heritage Station. WTMP, Egypt Lake, Tampa, Clearwater, 97.5 in Pinellas.
Alrighty. 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 Just for the record, June the 4th, 2021, that means I graduated from high school 50 years ago yesterday. I mean, I knew everybody was concerned and it was a great quandary, just for the record, 50 years out of high school is a long time. It only feels like 30. For those who get the joke.
And 2 degrees since.
Yeah. and a couple degrees and a couple of kids and a couple of opportunities
and one wife
and only one wife.
You gotta be beat by 3.
Yeah, the whole time. No, one wife the whole time.
Woo.
And
pray for that woman.
Life is good. I'm gonna say
there you go.
It's a lot of folks who graduated with me who are not here. And something I've kind of taken up lately, and I'm not sure if it's sick or it's sad, but we got one, well, we actually got 2, but one that I keep up with, funeral directors in Lake Wales. That's where many, if not most of my high school classmates are, and it seems like once or twice a month, they keep popping, going to the heavenly home.
Mm-hmm.
Something, I'm saying this all before I start the show. When we was a black high school, Roosevelt High, in Lake Wales, my senior class, before we integrated, would have had about 50 or 60 students. Then we integrated, that became 389 students was in my senior class. I know some of you guys saying, oh man, we had thousands in my senior class, your class of whatever it was, but I'm just talking. The fact that we integrated, exponentially, multiplied the number of graduating students that I graduated with. It's been difficult, if not impossible, to keep up with the white folks. I'm just saying. Now, we actually had, black, we all went to the same white high school, graduated from the same white high school, but we had been together for 10 years before they had the integration, before we integrated. So we pretty much knew each other. We had went through, born and raised in the hood, went through a whole process, of integration together, and after we graduated, it only seemed natural since the black high school had been having, class reunions forever, and for us to stop just because we went to the white high school. We still had a 10-year and a 20-year, I'm not sure what it did 30 or not, but, for a couple of years, we still got together. And I think one time, and I know y'all don't care about this, but I'm telling you anyway. I think one time the blacks and the whites got together and had a class of Lake West High School 1971. I think that in the whole 50 years, the whole black and white group got together one time. So anyway, congratulations. Proud you're still here, if you are. If you're not, you're in a better place. And
no taxes.
This is Porch Talk Radio. This is a fine Saturday. It's been raining all week, and they say it's gonna rain today. So for some folks that's good, for some folks that's bad. For my yard, it's good because it was brown. Some of it has got new life, and a couple more days of rain, it may actually turn to a shade of green, closer than the shade of brown that is at now. So
you can buy that dye and just paint it.
Yeah, and that becomes another stupid, useless, senseless bill because without water you have to keep dyeing your yard. So.
Well, gosh dang it! If it's not one thing, it's another.
I choose not to create another useless, senseless bill. So, this is Porch Talk Radio. It's a call-in talk show. Top rated, #1
again,
urban communication show in the area.
For years.
If you want to call in and be a part of the show, call-in number is 813-251-9867. 813-251-9867. If you want to call me, and there are people every week. I have people who, some of them don't love me, some of them do, but they call anyway, and that's good. And if you ever call me off the air, then I'm the same guy, and I try to be the same guy 24 hours a day, and I am truly concerned about what happens in the Tampa Bay area, and particularly in the black community. So if you got something you want to say, and you want to use this platform, I mean, this is a platform. It's a lot of folks, and I learn more every week, who may not ever call in, but they listen. And when they ever get to the point to where they feel the need to call, I am always a sympathetic ear toward issues concerning problems within our community. So let me give you my cell phone number. That's where we were going with that. My cell phone number, Eddie Adams Jr. cell phone number is 813-12. And if you want to email me, and a couple people choose to email, and if that's your best route, however you feel better, more comfortable doing that, Eddie, EDDIE, porchtalkradio.com. All right. Was in a meeting this morning in which Tampa Mayor Jane Castor was there. Very interesting meeting because I figured the mayor was going to be there.
Progress.
Primary topic was going to be her state of the city message that she put out a couple weeks ago. Just for the record, for those of you who have seen it, and it's out on, you can Google it and go to the website and hear the whole thing. The best part, and this is me, this is Eddie Adams Jr., the best part about the whole thing was the end.
Oh, boy.
I thought it was a creative ending to a video that gave a lot of information, and it pretty much told us what she was planning and what she was thinking about, and the future looks bright and all the stuff that that political candidates say, It
was a feel-good.
It was. It was a feel-good thing, but some people was made to feel better than others.
Oh.
I'm gonna say, and this is a critical critique. Let me say it like that. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying.
This is your take, right?
Yeah, she definitely made sure that certain factions or sections or part of the community felt better about the future and where it was going than other parts. Now, she's done good with women advancement within the city and the government and LGBT.
Black women?
You know, LGBT.
Guess not.
Well, I may be missing some letters or something in there, but
QMOZ, yeah.
but you guys know
LSD.
what I'm talking about. And you know, they got certain parts in which, you know, they're saying, you know, what the future and where they're going and what they did and all that kind of stuff. They said, and I'm not sure if it was just, it sounded like puff to me. They said one thing about West Tampa as they were riding through West Tampa, and they said one thing about East Tampa as she was riding through, you know, East Tampa. But I couldn't get a feel that in 5 years, 10 years, they're going to spend some money, it's going to be different. Nothing to me that indicated that I can look 5 years from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, and the everyday life of the citizens who live in those communities is going to be any different than what it is right now.
So you're saying status quo, leave it as is, don't make waves.
I'm saying they had a whole lot to say about the airport.
Okay.
They said a lot about channel side.
Okay.
But if you look at the channel side, you know, they got a whole bunch of cranes and they got a whole lot of big buildings going up, you know, and at the end of the day, I think some people, when they doing stuff like that, they try to throw a breadcrumb to most of the communities to kind of make them feel good, and
But it doesn't change your lifestyle.
even if it's a lie, I'm just saying.
Come on now.
You know, like campaigning. You know, it's the next campaign. They living for the next campaign. You know, we plan to do this or we plan to do that. Now, let me take that back. She did mention that there is a park that everybody a number of people within the community have been fussing and fighting about, and they got a plan to purchase some land and make some things better. So she did that did sound good to me.
That was a breadcrumb.
The fact that they're going to take this area because they spent $35 million on the waterfront, riverfront, and then
Wasn't no question about that.
No question about the spending.
Right, check, let's go.
You know, not only was it going to be done, it's already done. You know, and at the end of the day, no fallout that we know about, no community-wide fallout. And it's considered to be a good investment. It's a lot of stuff that's going on. If you just ride around Tampa, you see it. I'm like this. Anywhere there's a crane, there's a building going up.
Yeah.
It may not be residential, may be commercial, may be, part commercial, part residential. You know, it could be any combination thereof, but that means stuff is going up.
Eddie, but y'all got roundabouts, remember?
Yeah, that's part of it. Anyway, we got a call. Okay, I finished this diatribe, after we talked to the caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this fine Saturday morning. Who are you? Where are you calling from? And what say you? Hello?
Yes, I'm calling from Tampa. It's funny you said that. Did you hear, are there any plans of getting roundabouts by the airport and all the other ones, Eddie?
No. See, those people in those communities are a lot smarter than that. They're not going to be pacified and satisfied by just putting in a roundabout. And if you notice, they almost redid the entire traffic circulation patterns for the airport within the last couple of years. So all that stuff is brand new. And to your benefit, I must say, there's not one roundabout.
Man, it's funny about East Tampa. You talk about Riverfront. They put a Boys and Girls Club at the corner of Riverfront after you move the whole community out. And you see all the cranes in East Tampa. You got condos going up. And they've been talking about Fair Oaks for I don't know how many years. and I haven't seen a semi truck, nonetheless a painting truck to paint the building. But they had all those kind of meetings. It's truly a shame, and it's disheartening of what's going on throughout the whole city. But appreciate it, Eddie. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the call.
God bless.
And I gotta say, the Fair Oaks deal. City Councilman Orlando Gould's fought hard to make some stuff happen, and one of the places that's gonna receive some new money is that facility. So it ain't happened yet, and it's not in her video, but that is part of the conversation that she had with the folks that was at the meeting this morning. So for that, let me say it like this: she answered whatever questions we asked. So it's important for us to know what's happening in the communities ourselves,
Right.
so that we can ask them. Her answer may be I don't give a crap, or it's not at the top of my list. I got a 20 item list, and that's 18 or 19.
Now, Eddie, she would be very diplomatic about it. She would say, we'll put that in committee, and we'll discuss that, and we'll see where it goes from there.
And that's another thing we talked about. Now, let me say something good that
Positive, come on.
that she has done, because I did invite her to come on this show.
All right.
She didn't say no.
But she didn't.
But she gave me one of the mama looks. When you've said something bad, or you implied something bad. She, and I don't want to press her to come, but I told her she got an open invitation, cause the city of Tampa, and I heard something from the last show, has never had a Republican mayor. So we can't compare who does what for who if you don't never have a Republican mayor, because the Democrats take pride in that. But it's a whole community, that feel, and I'm not trying to talk for the whole community, but a lot of the folks that I talk to, and I haven't talked to everybody, feel that they're getting left off the list. Like I say, we may be on the list, but it's a 20 item list, and we're 19 and 20, somewhere there.
And we keep trying to push people, as a good word, just push them to go vote. If you're tired of getting the same thing, you're going to have to change something. If you don't change, going to meetings, you don't start going to meetings, you don't start getting involved, you don't start showing up at these events, you don't start voicing your opinion, but you keep voting the way you've been voting, then you're going to keep getting what you keep getting. Here we are.
Right. Well, that's the primary definition of insanity. But again, it's black folks all over the country. Detroit has a black mayor.
Oh my God.
Cleveland.
What a disaster.
Washington, Atlanta.
Disasters.
It's a lot of places that haven't had a white
Decades.
mayor, either a Republican mayor, in 20 or 30 years.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, if you look at some of the communities around the country, I don't think necessarily that having, a black mayor, a Democratic mayor, is the answer. I'm just saying. They got as many problems.
Eddie, you're not being PC again, Eddie.
More problem than we do.
You're not being PC again.
Okay, we got another caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this fine Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Hello?
Eddie Adams, this is me.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh-oh.
And you have hit a spot with me because y'all are on point, but you kind of teetered a little bit about these roundabouts.
Yes.
Let me explain this. So they shoved, the city shoved the roundabouts down our throat. And then now the process is the city staff, along with a councilman, has convinced the community that there is a need to beautify the roundabout, and they want to spend $100,000 per roundabout. So we got 3 roundabouts, and they want the CAC, our taxpayer dollars, to go into beautifying some artwork for the roundabouts, which is a total cost of $300,000.
Wow.
Okay,
I'm
girlfriend.
just saying.
I know who you are. You are near and dear to my heart, but it's some people in the community who listens to this show may not know who you are. Could you tell them who you are?
My name is Yvette Lewis, and I sit on the CAC board, and we have questioned these roundabouts, and we have went to City Council, the CRA, and said no. And there are quite a few people. And at the last CAC meeting we had several people that come before the board. One lady was pleading for sidewalks in front of her house. Another lady was pleading for some rehab on her house. And she said she didn't want to hear nothing about it. So you want to put artwork, you want to put plants in front of some roundabouts. Well, we have critical needs that need to be met here. And if the city put those roundabouts there, let the city beautify those roundabouts.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
Well, that's what they did in Clearwater. When they had the
Yeah.
roundabout over there, they took complete responsibility for it. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, too. So, hey, all I know is elections have consequences.
Yes.
So, I'm voting for the person who's going to better serve our community and who's going to listen to all the people and bring some unity, not bring no strife between this community.
Yes.
Because it is time for us to even sit at the table. We may not have to drink the same tea, but sit at the table.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
That's
you
right.
calling in. And as she says, she's one of the, I recognize her, if you guys don't, as one of the community's leaders who makes and stands for something, and that needs to be multiplied exponentially for us to get the kind of results we need, because it's going to take more than 1 or 2 people standing. Which is kind of what I started talking about last week. We got to have the right people, and the way a democratic society normally operates, if you got the right people, citizens, you don't have to ask the mayor. You kind of say, Mayor, these are some things that we need.
Yeah.
But you got to have the right people doing that, and then you put them in a place to where they can't say no, because they're elected officials, and technically, they work for us.
They're employees.
They are employees. They get paid with taxpayers' money.
Your taxpayers.
As long as we, and they forget that, because I'll tell you, we as citizens, we put them up on a pedestal, we put them up on a platform, and we allow them to forget who's working for who. It may be a lot more of us than it is of them, but that's how the system works. And at the end of the day, we don't like their performance, like any other boss does.
That's right.
We get the option to replace them.
Fired.
And I'm not here spending the show talking about the mayor. I'm just bringing some things up, because if I was a LBGT person, if I was a female, I'm not talking against female, but what I'm saying is the mayor pretty much made clear every time she gives a speech of who she's going to make sure benefit from her being mayor. All I wish is one day somebody in that slot would say black folks.
We're going to help the black community in a different way this year.
Yeah, we're going to actually make some stuff happen, and everybody can see it,
Bring in your community leaders. Let's sit down and let's talk. What do we need to do now?
I can make a video, and I can tell you, in 5 years, America will be America's next great city. And these are some of the things that we're going to do to make that happen. We are going to get a multi-billion-dollar, construction company in here developing stuff, making stuff happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's happened in other places. It happened in places smaller than this. You know, and I asked the mayor a question about local preferences, and she's not in favor of it. You know, and you know that's why I asked her, because St. Pete got a local preference, Orlando got a local preference, and somehow it's working out for them, but they don't. And it's okay.
What does that mean, Eddie? Local preference? That means what?
Means when you give out contracts, which has to do with, you know, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars in jobs and security and community, you know, involvement. If you got 50% of people on the job living in that community, guess what? When it's done, you are there. You benefited from it. Your community benefited from it. Your family benefited from it. And most of all, you take pride in it. Forever, you can say, you'll be 100 years old, 103 years old, and you talk with your grandkids, you know, remember, you know, so-and-so project, you know.
You were there.
I worked on it. I was a part of it. I did this. I was a welder. You know, I was a grounds guy. I was a, you know, pipe layer, fitter, plumber, something. So, anyway. All right, we got another caller. Thank you for your comments, and we look forward to hearing from you again. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Hello?
Okay, it's me again.
Okay.
First of all, I want to say I love to talk about the local preference, because you know what, St. Pete is getting ready to introduce a local preference over there, and I support local preference, and that's where the city needs to go, so everybody can get have something to eat. Also, too, Eddie, if something you said that was very profound, they take care of their own people. So, you know what? Maybe it's time for Tampa to have a black mayor. Or if you don't want to say black mayor, let's say African-American mayor.
I don't care saying black mayor. You know me.
Okay. And maybe it's time for change. That's all I'm saying. And maybe we can get something then.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. And like she was just saying, you know, the local preference thing. Now somehow St. Pete, Pinellas, I'm saying Pinellas, you know, they have $1 billion black development company that's gonna help change the face of Pinellas.
Wow.
You know, and they got you know, they got local preference. Somehow you can make these things do what you need them to do. You know, if it's not a priority, guess what? It ain't gonna happen. You know, that's why, you know, like she just say, if we can get somebody who actually cares, give a crap, you know, about what's happening in some community other than South Tampa, maybe, you know, and this is something else, and I'm gonna say this. The whole city of New Orleans is below sea level. They have pumps that literally pump
24/7
the water out of New Orleans every day of the year, 24 hours a day. Because if you look at New Orleans, it's at the end of a river basin.
Eddie, that almost makes as much sense as building Las Vegas out in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, you know, but they was able to take care of it. Like I say, if it's a priority, and
it'll happen.
And that's a good example. They built Las Vegas in the middle of the desert, and they built New Orleans literally below sea level. I mean, those are feats that Tampa don't nearly have that kind of problem.
No,
we don't have problems nearly as bad as those, and those cities are striving. Those cities are moving stuff ahead. They're moving in leaps and bounds, you know. And I know everybody. Let me finish this thought before we do something else. In the mayor's video, and I said the best part was the end. In her back seat, I mean, you know, this may be, you know, if you haven't seen the video, you know, you could turn your radio off for about 2 or 3 minutes, because I don't want spoiler surprise for
Tell
you.
us the ending, man. Come on.
But she looks back, and her passenger that she's been riding all over Tampa with is the Super Bowl trophy, the Stanley Cup, and the baseball, whatever the thing was that the Devil Rays won. I'm not a baseball fan, so I'm not sure what it was. But it was three trophies that mean Tampa Bay, when they start calling Tampa Bay, and championships and all that stuff, from last year. I mean, we did great in sports. Everything that we kind of jumped into, we kind of won. We got pretty high in the process. And those were what she was riding around the backseat of a car, touring around Tampa, showing the trophies, not showing them off, but in the video, that's who she was talking to. Those were visitors and those were guests. That made the video have some sense at the end. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Because it's about Tampa and it's who we are and what we are and all that good stuff. And the fact that this year we actually got 3 championship trophies that the mayor can take around and show off to anybody that comes to Tampa. And that's a team effort. Those are all team efforts, and we all get to enjoy in that. I wish that the mayor would take the same effort to make some of that stuff happen, in some of the lesser minority community, East Tampa, West Tampa, Grant Park. I mean, a whole bunch of stuff. I'm just saying the nature of the effort it takes to make something like that happen is important. Okay, we got a caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this fine Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Hello?
It's Joe Robinson from West Tampa with a different viewpoint than everybody calling in.
Come on, Joe.
Go ahead, Joe.
Bring it.
But everybody calling in with all this shit talking about the man, what she ain't doing, all this nonsense. Okay? On the west side, we don't have that problem, because if you don't stay here, you obviously don't know what the hell's going on. That's the first thing. Everybody want to talk about an area, but if you don't stay here, I say this 1962. You've been here for that long, you can tell me something in West Tampa. Otherwise, we don't want to hear it. But we got it going on. Housing started, they do 30-40%. Minority participate in everything they build. Did you know that? That Tampa General used to work at white women getting all the contracts. Let's just get right down to a couple of things I heard.
Yep.
Local preference. Well, guess what? Have you seen the legal opinion about having a local preference in purchasing? Because there's all kind of local preferences. You need to be specific and know what you're talking about. In engineering and CCNA, it's called location. If you want to get some points for location, well, somebody in the local area, somebody coming out of New York or Orlando, then there'll be more points for that. It's called location. That's one thing. That's not local preference. You got another one. Local preference in contractors. The city got a legal opinion since Josephine Savage said in contracting it's against the state of Florida law. Well, how these other people got it? Well, they don't have a local preference on contracting. Local preference is for example, a developer. And this is what I tell these people, running their mouth and ain't read the legal opinion. Because I don't do nothing less than I got legal opinion. And if you want to do something with that, city campus, provide us a legal opinion why it can't be done, or provide us a legal opinion why it can be done, so all this talking. There's a legal opinion being put. I got a copy of it, including the updated copy, for the city of Tampa, why they ain't got one. Now, if you got a developer coming, that's a different story. The developers coming to town, that's why I say what we need, that's why we got on the wrong yard a community benefit agreement, which St. Pete ain't never had, ain't never got, and we got one already in the works. Provided city council approved the wrong yard there. First community benefit in the whole history of the city and the whole Bay Area for a neighborhood. Other thing, you're talking about developers come in, you can say, hey, we want this local developer to utilize people and let them comply with our minority business ordinance. Why? The Tampa Heights redevelopment agreement, they got to comply with minority business ordinance. Every development agreement the city signs, they put it in there, including the one for the hotel waterside downtown, got a clause in the box to utilize minority business. You know what happens? Nobody goes back and enforces it. they're supposed to give a report from Tampa Heights and report annually on their utilization. Not just, you architect, Eddie, not just on the horizontal pipes in the ground, but on the vertical buildings that were built. But who over there monitoring? Nobody. Regular Heart don't monitor. There's no database where you can go find every development agreement and see if people actually complying with what was said in the beginning when they went to city council and went to the city to get that development agreement. Okay? Right now we're doing workforce. Every contract you do now with the city, that big pipes project, the wastewater project, they got workforce development in there, and it's being adhered to. Now, so if you don't know the specifics of something, we want local preference, you better do your homework. You better go get the legal opinion.
Joe?
You better go look at what they do. Because let me explain something to you. The issue came up, well, take Pete doing that, we should do it in Tampa. Well, our lawyers say we can't do that. Well, I can't go against the lawyers I got. I don't want to go holler in the night at somebody. The lawyers over there say they can.
Joe, to save you, I know you know what's going on and all that kind of stuff. But the mayor said that she was against local preference. So that's all she had to say, and it's why it's not happening.
Because it's not legally doable under the city ordinance and the statute. Have you read the legal opinion from the city on local ordinances? Have any of y'all read?
Joe, the fact that the mayor is against it is enough of a reason for it not to happen here.
The mayor cannot break the law. He can't do it. I'm going to send you the legal opinion written by Josephine Stafford about local preference on contractors now. On contractors. This is good. On contract, I didn't say about development.
Joe.
I didn't say location and selection on two. I said a contract.
If it was on her top 5, top 2 or 3 issues, kind of like Orlando and Pinellas, they can find a way to make it happen. I truly believe
it's not the same.
If it's
not. Have you looked at their ordinance? Have you looked at them? No. You're just talking about a word called local preference, and it's legally make a big difference of how you apply it and where it's applied. That's what you're saying.
But you're saying it can't be done, and I'm saying if she wanted to do it, she could do it. See, that's what I'm saying.
There's legal law.
The law changes every day.
The law has
everywhere. They even try to change the Constitution.
But it ain't changed now. That's the law.
There you go.
Just talking. Now let me finish, and I'll let you go with your show. Okay, because you're putting out erroneous information. If you want to think I'm lying, I'm going to send you the legal opinion on local preference ordinance and local preferences that the city got been out there for years. Okay?
Now the city do have attorneys, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And then what attorneys do? They change laws every day, right?
Right, I know.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, you can, but it ain't changed now. That's an aspiration. That's an aspiration to get that local preference. That's an aspiration. That ain't no legal fact. Okay, so like I said, I deal with a lot of lawyers, and all y'all people out there that ain't got no lawyers, you better get to something because you might get sued real quick. Trust me. So
thank you, Joe.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
You did good. Thank you.
All right, next caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Hello?
Hello, peace and blessings.
Yes.
This is Sister Connie Burton.
Yes.
And, I was thinking when I saw the mayor's video, for me, I would have said how wonderful it would have been if there would have been children inside the vehicle and say, you know what, the future belongs to you. And I'm going to this mayor is going to make sure that we have no divisions in this city. And Tampa becomes seamless under my administration. That was what I was wishing, as opposed to that which has been won through some type of sporting event. That's what I was hoping for, but, of course, it's her video. I do know this. Inside of our community, there are those that will hold on to this theory of this is the law without wanting to challenge the law for the better good of everybody.
Right.
And so, like you say, there has been laws established, but when laws cannot implement a goodwill toward all, then it seems to me leadership would say, you know what? the leadership would say, you know what? Tampa could be a better place if we change the law, since we have an all-powering mayor to do that. But I believe the mayor should speak for herself, and her actions speak for her as well. Lastly, Miss Eddie, I will never be that kind of person. Some people say, well, if you only soften your tone, if you look a different way, if you bat your eye, if you being more compliant, unapologetic, loving black people 100%, unapologetic in saying that black people have a right to live in dignity. And the fact of the matter is this. While people would like to say, well, on the east side, this is one city, and hopefully black people will see themselves as being united, that whatever is happening on one side of the city would have a better outcome for all of our people, as opposed to one or two hollering what they got and what they're getting out of the process. Inside of East Tampa, I'm going to say this again, we have had $11 million on the table for 8 months. We've only been able to extract $50,000 out for a program purposely being done so black people in East Tampa continue to live up under the thumb of oppression. It ain't got nothing to do with we don't speak well. We know what we want. We say that we want a housing product that people that's a part of the working class can afford. We want to be able to fix the roof and rehab houses, and we want to have dignity for those that would like to become entrepreneurs, that they can do it inside of our community. And the answer to all of it has been no. Almost $2 million have been spent out on salaries and services. Is it the fault of the community that love our community that we haven't been able to turn it around? No. It is based on the fact that, unlike we're repeating history in so many different ways, that people have purposely, as we talk about so many things that now is being brought to our attention historically, purposely being done to just kill the soul of black folks. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
God bless.
Thank you, Connie. I appreciate you. And Connie got a point. And let me say this, for the whole diatribe that we were just having about the law. Everybody know that at one point in time, slavery was the law, and it was legal for a really long time. So for all intents and purposes, one of the reasons we got lawyers and judges and that whole legal system set up is that when you find a law to be unjust or unfair, there's a system by which you change laws. And I'm sorry, my brother was off, like he was acting like the law for local preference was absolute. No, none of them are. And at this point in time, it will take a strong effort to change it. But my point is, if that became Mayor Jane Casper one of her top 2 or 3 priorities, guess what? Between now and the next election, it would change. I truly believe that. But she has no reason in her thinking to change the law. So guess what? There's not going to be a big push to change the local preference thing. That's why I asked her. I didn't want to, come on there and say, well, she's for it or she's against it without personally knowing that she told me to my face, she's not supporting, local preference. And she told me why. So again, it's out there. So
now, Eddie, people had to have known that Democrats have voted for her, black and Mexican and Hispanic and whatever else color they might be. They had to have known that somewhere. But it's kind of like, again, we're back to the beginning of the conversation of they keep doing what they keep doing and they keep getting what they keep getting. And decade after decade after decade, here we are. Same old, same old.
And I'm gonna answer that question like this. At some point in time,
somewhere,
there's gonna be either a black person who becomes a candidate,
Mm-hmm.
or a Republican person
Mm-hmm.
who becomes a candidate, and the way campaigns work, they're gonna become Coke or Pepsi, and they're gonna win. I mean, that's how it's done. You know, it's not like some magical thing. You know, while we haven't had a Republican, I mean, Republicans haven't marketed themselves
Correct.
to the right community.
That's true. You're right.
To where the community show up and vote for that Republican.
But are we having any black people run for mayor?
Oh, we had black mayor run for Tampa almost every election cycle.
Really?
Most of the time, too. We got the same problem St. Pete got. They got two running right now for mayor. So again, you still got to win the battle. The battle is marketing. It's become Coke or become Pepsi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And on election day, have folks show up, support, and get you in office. I mean, that's how it's done. You know, that's the American way.
And I think you pointed out, if they kind of teamed up sometimes, that would consolidate the base and say, okay, this is a black person or Hispanic person, whatever party, but they're going to run. Let's get all the people behind this one here.
You got to know how the community works. You know, like I like the meeting I was in this morning. Like I say, it's an art form to dealing with black folks.
Mm-hmm.
Black folks know that, but at the end of the day, okay, give you an example. We had a conversation. We were talking about tipping, and you know, all the folks you think got great big money. Some of those people aren't big tippers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying. My mom worked in hotels, motels, and restaurants. You know, most of my younger life. You know, I would go in and, you know, when I was in college, go in and eat, and she would give me a meal or whatever the deal was,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I kind of told my mom back then I wasn't a big tipper. I believed in tips, but I wasn't like the guy who going to tip $10 for a $2, you know, cup of coffee or
Sure.
something. You know, some people are. And you know what my mom told me?
What's that?
She said tips usually balance out. You know, there's some guy who not gonna tip you at all, and there's another guy who's gonna give you
$30.
Yeah, $10, $20, $30.
Mhm.
You know, more than the meal. You know, and so over the period of a day, she say, you know, they average getting the same amount of tips every week. And she says it's the nature of the business.
Mhm.
And see, and what I got to tell you about black folks. For so long, we don't trust each other. For so long, we put ourselves in silos. You know, everybody black, but this group is bigger than that one. This group is better than that one. You know, this group got stars on their belly. That group don't have stars on their belly. You know, the Sneetches, you know, Dr. Seuss.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whatever reason, we find among ourselves to separate and group ourselves. So like what's happening in St. Pete, we got two black candidates who either one would probably be a great mayor for the city of St. Pete, but they won't know because they're running against each other. If they could somehow join forces, pool their resources, it probably would not. It probably is a slam dunk. We have a black mayor in St. Pete, but that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because of the nature of black folks. And I hate, you know, some people probably upset with me, mad at me because I told some big great secret, but it's out there. If one of those guys step down, or one of those guys join forces to help the other guy win, they could probably even take turns. Okay, you run and you run for 4 years, and you be mayor for 4 years, and the next cycle I run, and you help me, and
That
then
requires
you know,
trust, Eddie.
and then we can be mayors for St. Pete for 8 years.
Back and forth.
I mean, you know, but that's the nature. But that's the nature
Yeah.
of that beach. So thank you for listening, and I'm going to do the on this day. Oh, we got another call. Let's try to get one more call in. Then I got to do our stuff, and then if there's some callers left after that, then we'll try to get through. Okay, caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. We're getting toward the end of the show, so make it quick. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you? Hello.
Good afternoon, brother. It's brother Dixon.
Okay, Brother Dixon.
Bring it.
Okay, now I'm in Tampa. I want to make some corrections. You did have a Republican mayor. Bob Martinez was a Republican mayor, and also was Mayor Jane Castor a Republican at one time. And the next thing I want to mention, I know your show is winding up because you've been doing a lot of talking. But let me say this. For the last 40 years until this election, no mayor has ever won without East Tampa. If we only had one person to run against Mayor Casper, she would not have won that election. But because we need to look at the numbers. And the next thing I want to mention too is on June the 12th, the Coach Foundation is experiencing their 9th Juneteenth celebration on Facebook. Read the Florida Sentinel and see more information. But this is what I want you to realize, so they had to do in your sidekick. What was done in Tulsa was also done in Tampa. Think with me now. The correlation between District 5 and Tulsa is one of the same. The only thing that happened in Tulsa, they used airplanes. But in District 5, they used nonprofits and the former 6 mayors prior to Jane Casper. Because if you look at the Riverwalk and all of that, that was planned 40 years ago. I'm doing a documentary on that, and you read more about it. But I know your show is winding up, and I've been on hold for about a half hour. So anyway, I wish you could address that. Let me make one other thing. There was a plan for the airport to come down Hillsburg, from the airport to Hillsburg, down 22nd Street in Evo City. That was the plan under Dick Greco. So people don't do things about mere happenstance. There is a plan, and we are not included in the plan. And if you don't realize this, within the next few years, District 5 will not be a black district.
No, it won't.
It's been for the last so many years. And I'll listen to what you have to say on my comments.
All right, thank you. Okay, let's get the next call in. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this fine Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Okay, they gone? Okay, well, let's do on this day, and then Gabriel, and then if we have time after that, those two things, we'll comment on Coach's Reverend Dixon's comment. Okay, on this day, June 5th, 1752, Benjamin Franklin flew a kite for the first time to demonstrate that lightning was a form of electricity. So up until that point in time, he had never been out flying a kite, but he had a point to prove, and he did. So on this date, June the 5th, 1884, the Civil Rights General William T. Sherman, everybody's friend and buddy from the 40 Acres and a Mule guy, he refused the Republican nomination for president, saying, "I will not accept it if nominated, and I will not serve if elected."
So he was done.
Yeah, he didn't want to be king. He kind of like George. He kind of like George Washington. I won the war. I'm done.
I'm good.
Yeah, because a lot of generals, turn around and become president.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, on June the 5th, 1927, everyone's great white man, Johnny Weissmuller.
Oh my goodness!
If you may recall from the Tarzan days.
Bawana.
Yeah, Johnny Weissmuller set 2 world records in swimming event. Weissmuller set the mark for 100 yards and 200 yards freestyle swimming competitions. So again, that's kind of how he became Tarzan. If you notice, they did a lot of water swimming scenes in Tarzan, where he was swimming away from people and swimming to save people.
He always looked graceful at it too, Ed.
Yeah, and he didn't.
You and I probably wouldn't look so graceful.
He didn't have a bad physique either.
That loincloth wouldn't help either.
Yeah. And just to finish this up, and I know Gabriel, you have 3 minutes to do your thing.
Nope.
June the 5th, 1933, President Roosevelt signed a bill that took the U.S. government off of the gold standard. even though we went back on and it happened again with Reagan in 72.
Yeah.
But it first happened 1933, June the 5th. All right,
Ouch.
Gabriel.
All right, Fauci on the brain. Fauci is the new Jesus to people who don't believe in God. Fauci has lied repeatedly. His emails were not necessarily leaked. There was a FOIA act that made them public, basically saying that face masks don't work. The virus is much smaller. I know we've had a conversation here quite a long time here. Fauci ignored the physicists claiming hydrochloroquine would help battle coronavirus. Fauci ignored scientists who told him China was lying about the data. Fauci knew where the virus came from. Fauci helped fund it. So, folks, there's a lot of Fauci baloney going on, and his book that was called The Truth has been pulled because they figured it might not be the truth, because his emails are saying quite the opposite of what you and I were told. And if you are wearing a mask now, you have been fooled, rookie dude, because Fauci has said plain out to his friends, don't worry about the mask. The virus is too small. Anyway, so as we end with some humor, of course, a new teacher was trying to make use of her psychology courses. She started her class by saying, everyone who thinks they're stupid, stand up. After a few seconds, little Larry stood up. The teacher said, do you think you're stupid, Larry? No, ma'am, but I hate to see you standing there all by yourself. How sweet. Yeah. Boom.
Yes, there you go. All right. What I'm gonna make a couple of comments, you know, and then the show is gonna be over. You know, we usually do a Juneteenth event too, and I want to thank Reverend Dixon every year for making sure to have a big event, and to give you a little bit of background, a little bit of history. You know, I was on the Sheriff Black Advisory Council a number of years ago, and we used to do an awards banquet for the black people who took care of the bailiffs, the folks who work at the stockade, the sheriff officers, you know, all the folks in the system. And one year, David G. was sheriff, and he come in and said, you know, we would like to do the awards banquet. And he took our time. And I said, okay, well, you know, I was a member of a bunch of groups and organizations, and one of the groups that I was a member of was 100 Black Men. So the 100 Black Men, you know, it's the same kind of event. We said, well, what we're going to do is we're going to do something in June. Why don't we take Juneteenth, because that's going to be hard for some white folks to come take Juneteenth from black folks.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? That was the whole idea behind us starting,
makes sense,
you know,
to me.
the Juneteenth thing, so that we got a holiday that's going to be ours in perpetuity as long as we want to do something.
Right.
You know.
And
So now what we're trying to do is populate the whole month. The COVID bit us in the butt, you know, for a year or so.
Yeah.
You know, but to try to populate the whole month of June with black organizations, with black events, celebrating the history of black folks being free in America. I mean, that's what it's all about. And so, if Coach Dixon want to come on the show next week or so, and tell about his event and some of the other stuff that's going on, you know, then I'm gonna send out an invitation, you know, to Coach Dixon. But he got to get back with me, because he can't wait. He can't wait till next Friday or Saturday to say I want to do it, because I do my agendas for the show on Thursday. So he needs to tell me if he want to do it. He want to take advantage of the time, you know, and we can do that. So anyway, it's that time again, folks. I love the fact that Tampa Bay is committed, and we're gonna keep trying to do what we are doing. We're gonna bring you information. We're gonna bring you knowledge, you know, that you can work with, and give you some people who got opinions about what's happening, and try to move this whole community forward. I mean, that's our goal, and hopefully we can make that happen. So until next week, Tampa Bay, same bat time, same bat place. Bye-bye. We love you.
God bless.
See you.